Hi, my dear students, welcome to English class. And I'm so happy to meet you all through this video once again. And today in this video, we're going to look at Unit 2, Wit and Humor. And under this theme, we're going to study 3 lessons: the Departed-1, the Departed-2, and the Brave Porter. So before we get into the lesson and see what the content is, let us look at the theme of our Unit 2. Unit 2, it is talking about wit and humor. The title says, the theme says, it is wit and humor. So let us understand the theme first. Wit. What is wit? Wit can be defined as keen intelligence or else a natural talent for using words and ideas in quick, amusing ways. So it is all about the word play, the exchange of words, exchange of ideas in an amusing way, in an entertaining way. What is humor? Humor can be defined as quality of being amusing. Humor means nothing but being entertaining, being hilarious. So, wit and humor means the amusement which was created by intelligent use of words and ideas. So that's what wit and humor means. And on page 36 on our textbook, please open your textbooks to page 36. If you see there, look at the picture and answer the questions that follow. Please look at the picture and comprehend the picture. What do you understand from the picture? So you're understanding what's going on in the picture. Please do convey it, answer to yourself. And the second one, can you recall anything comic associated with these animals? And there is a very famous comic which we are all aware of. And please mention the comic name. Third one, can you imagine what may be the conversation between the rat and cat? And you can see the rat is pointing out a pistol towards the cat, and the cat seems a little scared. So develop a conversation between the rat and cat. So what could be the possible conversation? And keeping these things in mind as you answer these questions, let us move on into the lesson. Now let us read a play in which the characters behave in a humorous way. So the following lessons which we're going to go through, they are humorous, they are very amusing, entertaining. So let us go through these lessons. Before we look at the lesson, let us look at who the author is. About the author, William Stanley Houghton, 1881 to 1913, was a famous English dramatist. He was one of the best of a group of realistic playwrights, often called the Manchester School. Manchester School means a group of poets came together and they formed a group, and that is called as Manchester School. And he is one of the best writer among them. In every play, he sought to present an idea. He had a remarkable gift for dialogue that is evident in The Dear Departed. So we can see how witty this person is, how intelligent in using words to amuse people, we can see in this particular play. The Dear Departed was first produced in Manchester in 1908. So it is first produced in 1908. Here, Houghton satirizes the degradation of moral values in the British middle class. Through his play, he's trying to present us how the moral values were degraded, how the moral values are being exhausted in the British middle class. So it is not only then, even now we see the degradation of moral values. So now let us get into the lesson without any delay. Page 37. Please turn your textbooks on page 37. A reading. The Dear Departed 1, part 1 and part 2. The play is divided into 2 parts. So, and it is a one-act play. A one-act play is a play which doesn't need a change of setting and all. It takes place at one place and with stipulated characters. We don't find too many characters involved in the play, and it takes place at one particular place, and the main intent is to convey a message or to convey a moral through the play. And let us understand the title, The Dear Departed. What is the meaning of the title, The Dear Departed? The dear departed means a person you love who has died. The dear departed means, once again, a person you love who has died. That means in our particular lesson, we see a person whom they love so much, he dies. And then it's actually they don't love him, though they call him the dearest one. And we will see what the play is all about. And let me introduce the characters. And please keep all these characters in mind. Without knowing who is who, it is difficult to understand the play. Only if you could able to know the characters well, the play would be amusing to you. Characters: Mrs. Emilia Slater, Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan, and these two are sisters. Emilia Slater, Elizabeth Jordan, they are sisters. And these sisters, their respective husband names are: Emilia Slater's husband name is Henry Slater. Elizabeth Jordan's husband name is Ben Jordan. By looking at their surname, we can find out whose husband is who. And you can see that Emilia Slater's husband is Henry Slater and Elizabeth Jordan's husband is Ben Jordan. And then next character, Victoria Slater. By the name Slater, we could know to whose family she belongs to. Victoria Slater, a girl of 10, Emilia's daughter. So, Emilia's daughter she is. Next one, Abel Merriweather, father of Emilia and Elizabeth. And next one is Jimmy, son of Elizabeth Jordan. So, Jimmy is son of Elizabeth Jordan and Ben Jordan. And the most important character is Abel Merriweather, father of Emilia and Elizabeth, because the whole story revolves around him. And now let us get into the lesson. And whatever that is written in the brackets, they are actually giving us the details of the setting, or giving us the description of the character, or giving us what the expression is. And they are not the part of the dialogues. It is a play, and if it is enacted out as a play, it would be more interesting. And whatever is in the bracket, it is not part of it. It's not part of the dialogue. It is an extra description of the location, setting, or the person, or his emotion. So let us see. When the curtain raises, so it's a play. As the curtain raises, the characters and their positions, they're telling us that Mrs. Slater is seen laying the table. So she's seen laying. Laying means, see, lay means it's a verb, and the meaning of it is to put the cloth, plates, knives, forks, etc. on a table ready for a meal. So she's making the table ready for the meal. And now they're giving us the description of this particular woman, Mrs. Slater. And let us see her description. She is vigorous. Vigorous means strong, healthy, and full of energy. And plump. Plump means slightly fat in a fairly pleasant way. Means slightly fat, but she looks fairly pleasant. And then red-faced. Red-faced means an angry woman. And then vulgar. Vulgar means very rude and offensive. Prepared to do any amount of straight talking. She would do any amount of talking to get her own way. And get her own way is an idiom. You all need to know the meaning of it, and you need to use it in the sentence of your own. Get her own way, idiom. Persuade other people to allow you to do what you want. So persuading other people to do what you want. So she is such a woman, she always persuade others to do what she wants. She is in black. She is in black means she is wearing a black dress. And please recognize the preposition that she is in black. It's not she is black, but she is in black. That means she is wearing a black dress. She goes to the window, opens it, and calls into the street. So she opens the window and she calls into the street, and let us see what she is saying. Mrs. Slater. And in the bracket, it says sharply. Sharply means how she is saying this dialogue. They're giving us an idea with a sudden sensation. See what she is saying. Victoria, Victoria, do you hear? Come in, will you? And she said it in sudden sensational way, sharply, calling out, do you? Do you means, see there, it's used in an awkward situation. And do you hear? Come in, will you? So she's calling this girl Victoria. And they're giving us the description of Victoria. Victoria, a precocious girl. Precocious means, you could see in the glossary, precocious means she is intelligent, gifted, talented. So she is a very intelligent, gifted, and a talented girl. And she comes in. Now let us see what Mrs. Slater got to say to Victoria. I'm amazed at you. Amazed means nothing but surprised. I'm surprised at you, Victoria. I really am. Be off now. Be off means it's a phrasal verb. Be off means go away. Go away now and change your dress before your Aunt Elizabeth and your Uncle Ben come. She's telling her that your aunt and your uncle, they are both coming. So you go and change your dress. And why she want her to change the dress? Let us see. It would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather laying dead upstairs. So there is a death in their home. Their grandfather, whom we talked as Abel Merriweather, he died and he is laying dead upstairs. And Elizabeth and Ben, they are coming to visit them. So if they find her in colors, in a colorful dress, it seems to them as if they are not grieving. So wearing a particular dress code, especially a black dress, when a person is dead, is like conveying the condolence or telling to others that they are grieving, that they are bereaved of the person's death. So if they find you in colors, they think that you're not bothered about your grandfather's death. So better you go and change, go away immediately. And then Victoria, what she got to say, let us see. Victoria, what are they coming for? They haven't been here for ages. And why are they coming? And they haven't been here for ages. And again, for ages is an idiom again. For a long time. For a long time they haven't been here. And why are they coming now? Mrs. Slater, they are coming to talk over poor grandpa's affair. Your father sent them a telegram as soon as we found he was dead. So now we found that he is dead. As soon as we found that he is dead, we sent them a telegram. And they are coming over here in order to talk about your grandpa's affairs. What to do with his assets and what about the funeral and all. So they're going to come in order to talk about all those. And now in the bracket they are giving us the description of Henry Slater. And let us see how Henry Slater is. A stooping means he's little bent, and then heavy man with a drooping mustache. Drooping means a hanging mustache, a pretty long one which is hanging. Enters. He is wearing a black tailcoat, and they're giving us his the description of his physical appearance. He's wearing a black tailcoat, a long coat, and then you can see there grey trousers, a black tie, and a bowler hat. So they have given us the physical description of Henry Slater. And let us see. Now Henry comes in. A noise is heard as Victoria and Emilia, as both are having a conversation. A noise is heard. It is Henry who came in. And let us see. I'm wondering if they will come at all. When you and Elizabeth quarreled, she said she would never set foot in your house again. And wondering means I'm thinking that if they will come at all. I don't think so they will come. Because last time when you both quarreled, when you quarreled with Elizabeth, she made a statement saying that I would never set foot in your house again. Set foot means it's again an idiom. It means I will never enter your house again. So she made such a statement and they left. And ever since then, they never came back. And that's the reason why Henry is really wondering that if they will come at all. And Mrs. Slater, let us see. She knows her sister well, and let us see what she is saying. She will come fast enough after her share of what our fathers left. At least, not for our father, at least for what our father has left for us, the share which belongs to her, at least for that she will come. You know how hard she can be when she likes. So she behaves very hard when she knows something belongs to her, or if she likes something, she behaves in such a way that she would get that. Where she get it from, I can't tell. From where she got this kind of behavior, I don't know. That's what the Emilia is saying. And then Henry replying back to Emilia, I suppose it's in the family. In a satirical way, he's saying that I suppose this stubbornness is there in the family itself. And he took a pause, and then he's asking something to Emilia. Let us see. Where are my slippers? So he want to put on his slippers, and he's asking where his slippers are. And let us see what Mrs. Slater, Emilia Slater, got to say. In the kitchen. Okay, your slippers are in the kitchen, but you want a new pair. Those old ones are nearly worn out. So she is saying that they are in the kitchen, and they're all worn out. Why do you want to wear those old ones? Why don't you wear a new one? And you might be thinking that Emilia might have bought him a new pair, but there is nothing as such. But let us see what she is suggesting. nearly breaking down. Nearly breaking down means she's getting a little emotional, and then see what she is saying. You don't seem to realize what it's costing me to bear up like I am doing, and you can see what all I'm going through right now emotionally. It is very hard for me. Maybe it seems like it's very easy for me, but I'm going through a lot. That's what she's saying. My heart fits to break. I'm very upset of all these things what's going on right now. And see, when I see the little trifle means a thing of little value or importance. All these small things, like we will get to know what those trifles are. And she's saying, I'm upset about these things, all these things that belongs to my father. See, little trifles that belongs to father lying around, and think he will never use them again. She's saying that I'm so upset, all these little things, those all belong to my father, thinking that he is not going to use them ever again. So it's really making me upset. In a way, she's suggesting what all belongs to my father, let us use them. And then briskly means very quickly, what she did. Here, you would better wear these slippers of my father's now. It's lucky he had just got a new pair. And see, she has got her father's slippers and gave to her husband. And she's saying that you're so lucky that he got a new pair and he died. And this words of Emilia is giving us a little impression of what kind of woman she is. And in the description, it was shown that she is a vulgar, vigorous, red-faced, plump. Maybe they are all true as per the description. And then Henry, what he got to say. Let us see if he is going to agree with his wife. Henry, they will be very small for me, my dear. Maybe the size difference, and he is saying that they will be very small for me. I can't put them on. Mrs. Slater, they will stretch, won't they? So she's saying, if you put them on, they will stretch. And won't they? They will stretch for sure. And see, such a insisting woman she is. Whatever she want to do, she will make others to do it. And that's why we have seen her, we have seen an idiom, get her own way. And then, I'm not going to have them wasted. If you're not going to put them, they will be wasted. So you better wear them. She has finished laying the table, and ever since we started this play, she started arranging the table for the meal, and now she finished it. Henry, I have been thinking about the bureau of my father's that's in his bedroom. You know, I always wanted to have it after he died. So bureau, if you don't know what a bureau is, on page 39 we have a picture of a bureau. Bureau means a writing desk with drawers. So that's what a bureau means. So she is expressing her desire. She's saying that I have been thinking about the bureau of my father's that's in his bedroom. Now he is dead. He is lying there in his room. So he wants a bureau, and she got her eye on that bureau, and she want to get it down, because what all things that are there in the ground floor that belongs to Henry and Emilia, and whatever is in the father's room that belongs to him, and whatever is in the father's room, both the sisters have to divide now. And she got a crooked plan that, and let us see what that crooked plan is. Let me not reveal it right away. Henry, you must arrange with Elizabeth when you are dividing things up. So yeah, you like it, but when you divide things with Elizabeth, you both discuss and divide things up, because what all belongs to your father, they belong to you both. So you both need to discuss, and you have to divide among you, and then between you. Next, Mrs. Slater. What Mrs. Slater got to say? Elizabeth, that's sharp. And see, now she is describing Elizabeth. She will see I am after it, and we will drive a hard bargain over it. And if she sees that I like this bureau, she will be after it. Whatever I like, she will do her best in order to gain that. So if she knows that I am after this bureau, she will do something or the other in order to get this bureau. She will drive a hard bargain. And again, drive a hard bargain is an idiom again. And the meaning of it is work hard to negotiate agreement in one's own favor. She will negotiate in such a way we will have no other option rather than just accepting what she is saying. So she will drive a hard bargain. So let us not have a argument with her. Henry, perhaps she got her eye on the bureau as well. Maybe the same way you're liking that bureau. Maybe Elizabeth might also had her eye on this. So you better divide with her, and let us see what Emilia got to say now. She is never been here since father bought it. She knows that after they had a quarrel, after she left her home, then father brought the bureau. Their father brought the bureau. She never know that father brought the bureau. That's what she's saying. It was only down here instead of in his room. She would never guess it. It wasn't ours, our own. So what she's saying, let us bring the bureau down here to the downstairs. If it is not in our father's room, she will never know that it is not ours. She will think that it is ours, and she will never think that the bureau belongs to our father. So let us see if Henry is going to agree with Emilia Slater or not. Startled means surprised by something. Emilia, he raises. So maybe by hearing her crooked ideas and plans, and having such a sharp memory of when her father brought and all that, and he was so surprised, and she said, Emilia, and then Mrs. Slater, Emilia Slater, Henry, why shouldn't we bring that bureau down here now? We can do it before they come. So before Elizabeth and Ben comes there, they both want to shift that bureau down, and that's what Emilia Slater is insisting. Let us see Henry will agree with Emilia or not. Stupefied, and earlier he was startled, now stupefied. Stupefied means he is shocked, he is astonished. I wouldn't care to. He's saying, no, I wouldn't care to. I will not be bothered to bring the bureau down. Emilia Slater, don't look so daft. Why not? Daft means stupid. Don't look like a stupid. Why can't you bring it down? And she is insisting, she is forcing her husband to do what she wanted to do. Henry, it doesn't seem delicate somehow. The bureau doesn't look delicate, lightweight. It looks so strong, sturdy. Maybe we can't really bring it down. And then let us see, Mrs. Slater. We could put that shabby old chest of drawers upstairs where the bureau is now. Elizabeth could have that and welcome. I have always wanted to get rid of it. And she's having a old shabby chest of drawers, and she want to put that in place of bureau, and she want to bring that bureau down. Such a gracious heart she got. So she's saying that Elizabeth may take that shabby old chest of drawers, because I always wanted to get rid of it. Get rid of means I always wanted to throw it away. So let Elizabeth have it. And then she points out to the drawers. So she's pointing out to that old shabby old chest which is down there. She's saying that she may have this, but let me have that bureau. And Henry is still hesitant to do what his wife is asking him to do. Suppose they come when we are doing it. What if they come when we are shifting it down? It would be a problem again. Mrs. Slater, I will fasten the front door. Fasten means I lock. I will lock the front door. Get your coat off. Get off means get your coat off means remove your coat. Henry, we will change it. Henry, come, let's go. We will change it now. And then let us see in the brackets. Mrs. Slater goes out to fasten the front door. She rushed out to lock the front door. Henry takes his coat off. Mrs. Slater reappears. She goes and she locks the doors and she comes back. And meanwhile, he removed his coat and he's already, by listening to his wife's words, now they're going to bring the bureau down. And let us see. Mrs. Slater, I will run up and move the chairs out of the way. So she's so, we can see that she's so excited. She's getting the bureau down. So she ran up and moved all the obstacles which are on the way. And then see there, over there, Victoria appears. Victoria came into the scene, dressed according to her mother's instruction. She told her to put on black dress. So she put on a black dress and she came back. And let us see what Victoria is saying. Victoria, what have you got your coat off for, father? So she's asking her father, why did you remove your coat, father? Henry, mother and I are going to bring grandfather's bureau down here. So we both decided to bring your grandfather's bureau down here, and that's the reason why I removed the coat. Victoria, are you planning to pinch it? And Victoria is asking a question to her father, and she's asking, pinch means to steal. Are you planning to steal it? And Henry, shocked, looking at, hearing what Victoria said, and in a way, she's calling her parents as thieves. And he was so shocked to hear that from Victoria. Shocked, no. But Henry didn't accept his mistake. but he's trying to cover it up by saying something else. No, my child, grandpa gave it to your mother before he died. Before he died, he told your mother to take the bureau. And then Victoria, she's still inquiring about the things. This morning, when did he say that? Did he tell this morning? And then see Henry, yes. And Henry is saying, yes, yeah, this morning before he died, he told us that. Victoria, he was drunk this morning. And then she's expressing herself saying that maybe he was drunk in order to say all this meaningless thing. Like, no one would know that I'm going to die. And then before that, they will ask to take the bureau and all. So it all seems like such a meaningless way of expressing things. That's the reason why Victoria said, he was drunk this morning. Mrs. Slater appears carrying a handsome clock under her arm. You can see in the picture which is on page 38, Mrs. Slater is coming down with a clock. She actually just want to bring the bureau down, and she's not satisfied with the bureau, just with the bureau. She's getting down few other things. Mrs. Slater, I thought I would fetch this down as well. And fetch means nothing but I will bring this down as well. She puts it on the mantelpiece. Mantelpiece means a place where they put fire in order to keep their home warm. The place where they put this wood and put the fire, we call that as a fireplace, and a shelf above that fireplace we call that as a mantelpiece. She brought that clock down and she put it on the mantelpiece. Our clock's worth nothing. Our clock is it is of no worth. And this always appealed to me, this always attracted me, this always pleased me, and that's the reason why I got this clock down as well. On page 40, Victoria, that's grandpa's clock. And Victoria knows that's her grandpa's clock, so she is saying that. Now let us see how Amelia is responding to her. Be quiet, it's ours now. So she is such a rude one, offensive one. She right away offended her daughter, saying that be quiet, it's ours now. Come, Henry, lift your end. So she is taking Henry to shift the bureau down. And we can see over there what all had happened after they went up in order to bring the bureau, and they have given us in the description. Henry and Mrs. Slater, very hot and flushed because the bureau is pretty heavy, pretty sturdy, I think so. It is very difficult to carry. So they both became very hot and flushed. Means they're with full of sweat and all. Stagger in with a pretty old-fashioned bureau. So stagger in means walk or move in an unsteady way. They couldn't able to walk straight. They are staggering. And then a old-fashioned bureau containing a locked desk. Old-fashioned, it's an adjective that's saying it is built in a old way. It's not a old bureau, but it was made in a old-fashioned way. And a locked desk, and it also has some locked desks. They put it where the chest of drawers was and straighten the ornaments, etc. There is a knock at the door. The knocking is repeated, and they shift it and they arranged everything. Everything is set, and then they heard a knock at the door. Someone is knocking the door, and let us see who they are. Victoria ushers in Ben and Mrs. Jordan. So Victoria went out to open the door. She unlocked the door, and Mrs. Elizabeth and Ben, they both came in. And let us see. The latter is a stout, complacent woman with an irritating air of being always right. And later means something which is in the second position, that is Elizabeth Jordan. They are giving us the description of Elizabeth Jordan. She is stout. A stout means she is very well built. And complacent means feeling so satisfied with your own abilities or situation that you feel you do not need to try any harder. It's like feeling like, okay, what all I have is enough. It doesn't need to try anything more harder in life and all. And also you can see that with an irritating air of being always right. And she is such a stubborn woman. She always thinks that she is right and others are wrong. She is wearing an outfit a new morning. And you have to pay attention over here. She is wearing a new morning. That means a new black dress that they are wearing. Ben is also in complete new mourning, and her husband is also in a complete new mourning dress. And then let us see. He's rather a jolly little man. So Ben Jordan is a jolly, very funny little man, but at present trying to adapt himself to the regrettable occasion. Now the situation is not jovial, not funny. He has to be serious. He have to set a regrettable or grievous mood, so he can't be jovial and funny, and he's trying to adapt to the situation there. Mrs. Jordan sails into the room and solemnly goes straight to Mrs. Slater and kisses her. Then men shake hands, and that's what it's going on. Now let's get back into the play. They narrated us the actions and all what all had to take place, and then now the words, the dialogues exchange. Mrs. Jordan, well, Emilia, and so he's gone at last. So Elizabeth is telling to her sister, okay, now he's gone, he's dead. Mrs. Slater, yes, he's gone. He was 72 a fortnight last Sunday. She sniffs back a tear, and Emilia's letter, she's acting as if she's crying, and she's saying that yes, he's gone, and he was just 72 a fortnight last Sunday, and recently he celebrated his birthday and all. Sniffs means draw up air or to stop running, and she's she actually tried to cry, but she pulled back her tears, and that's what it is. Ben chirpily, and then Ben, his dialogue, what he's saying now, Emilia, you mustn't give way. So you should not give yourself into these emotions and all. And then see what Ben Jordan is saying, we have all got to die sometime or other. So Ben Jordan is trying to console Emilia as she's about to cry and all. So with these words, he's trying to console her. Mrs. Jordan, and now perhaps you will tell us all about it. And now Elizabeth is asking, okay, tell us, how did you find that he is dead? What really happened? And then Mrs. Slater, father had been merry this morning. He went out soon after breakfast to pay his insurance. So he's very merry, he's very happy this morning. And soon after his breakfast, he went out to pay his insurance premium. And then Ben, see over here, my word, it's a good thing he did. So he's appreciating his father-in-law, saying that he's such a good man and he has done something very good. He paid his insurance. That means Ben is actually in a plan that we will get his insurance money, and maybe he's happy about it. And then Mrs. Jordan, Elizabeth again, he always was thoughtful in that way. Now even Elizabeth is praising her father, saying that he's such a thoughtful man, a very careful man. He plans everything well on time. He was too honorable to have gone without paying his premium. And she's saying that he's such an honorable man, he will not die without paying the insurance premium, as if he really knows that he's going to die that particular day, and that's the reason why he paid it before he died. And we can see over here that both the sisters are very much money minded. Even Ben Jordan is money minded. And see, and Henry is adding, and when I came in, I found him undressed, sure enough, and snug in bed. So he removed his clothes and he went into his bed in order to sleep, and he snug in his bed, and he was very it seems like he was very comfortable in the bed. And then Mrs. Slater, Emilia, is also adding to what her husband said. And when we had finished dinner, I thought I would take up a bit of something on a tray. So I thought of taking to our father as well. So we finished our dinner and then we took something for our father. He was lying there for all the world as if he was asleep. So he looks like as if he's sleeping. It didn't seem like he is dead. And then see, so I put the tray down on the bureau, and correcting herself, see, she mentioned bureau. Actually, the bureau is now downstairs. It is not in her father's room. As it was earlier in her father's room, she was in that and she mentioned bureau. But whereas she's supposed to say the chest of old drawer, and that's the reason why correcting, because Elizabeth is such a sharp woman, she could able to grasp things so quickly. And then on the chest of drawers, and went to waken him. It's not on the bureau actually, it's on the chest of drawers, and went to wake him. A pause. He was quite cold. When I went and touched him, he was quite cold, because the dead body, the person, once he dies, his body would become cold. Body will not maintain its temperature which it's supposed to maintain, the body gets cold, and as she touched her father, he was quite cold, and that's the reason why she thought that her father is dead. And then a pause, they wipe their eyes and sniff back tears. So they wipe their eyes, and they're trying to pull back those tears which are trying to come out. And then Mrs. Slater, raising briskly at length in a business like tone. So, in a systematic way, in an inquiring tone, she's asking. She stood up as quick as she can, and then, well, will you go up and look at him now, or shall we have tea? See, Emilia, what she is saying. Will you go up to have a look at his body, or shall we have tea? If we are in such incident, we will rush to see our loved ones. Now they are in a debate of whether to go upstairs and look at him, to have a look at him, or to have a tea, discuss, and then go there. See, such a cruel, cruel, merciless people these are. And then Mrs. Jordan, what do you say, Ben? And they are even discussing about it. And Elizabeth want to know Ben's opinion. Obviously, they have to take a decision to go upstairs and look at their father. But now they are having a discussion about whether we need to have tea first, or to visit their father. And then see, Ben, I'm not particular. I have no choice whether to go there and to see your father, or whether to have tea. I am no particular. Whatever you say, I'm okay with it. Elizabeth, surveying the table, she looked at the dining table. Well then, if the kettle is ready, we may as well have tea first. So what a decision that they have taken. So Elizabeth Jordan is saying, if the tea is ready, let's have the tea first, and then we'll go and see the father. Mrs. Slater puts the kettle on the fire and gets tea ready. So maybe she's heating the tea a little. She want to give it warm, so she is heating it up. And then Henry, one thing we may as well decide now in the announcement in the papers. So they're going to announce his death in the paper. So they want to sit and discuss about that. And then Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan, I was thinking of that. What would you put? So even she's saying, even I'm thinking about it. What would be put in the paper? I don't know. A pause. They all paused. No one said anything. And then Elizabeth again started. Well, we'll think about it after tea. And what all she focused is she want to have tea. So we will think even about this after the tea. And then we will look through his bits of things and make a list of them. There's all the furniture in his room. So then we will make a list of all the things that belongs to him, all the furniture that is there in his room. And then we'll see what to do with those things and all. And then Henry, there's no jewelry or valuable of that sort. Henry is saying there's no jewelry or valuables in order to make a list and to distribute. And he's in a way trying to say there is nothing that you really need to bother about, and there is nothing that you would long to get and all. And they're all invaluable trifles. And see that Mrs. Jordan, what she got to say, except his gold watch, he promised that to her Jimmy. And Elizabeth is too sharp. She knows what to do. She knows what her sister's heart is and what sister's husband heart is. So she already made up a plan, and she came over there. Except his gold watch, she knows that her father is having a gold watch. Except that, because he already promised to her Jimmy, she had a plan regarding the gold watch, and she gave Mrs. Emilia Slater. And she knows, she might be wondering, how did I miss gold watch? And she promised your Jimmy? I never heard of that. And she's saying that, how come he promised to your Jimmy? I never heard about anything of as such. And then see Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan. Oh, but he did, Emilia. When he was living with us, he was very fond of Jimmy. He likes Jimmy a lot. When he was living with us, he promised to Jimmy. That means these sisters took turns in order to take care of their father. Maybe for a while he was with Elizabeth, then he moved on with Emilia. Maybe after staying with Emilia for a while, then he will go back to Elizabeth again. So they're taking turns in order to take care of the father. Mrs. Slater, what she has to say? Well, I don't know. So she's so amazed, and she knows that even her sister came with a plan. It's not only Emilia who got the bureau down. And Elizabeth also got an eye on the watch, and she came with a plan. And then let us see, Ben is saying something. Anyhow, There's his insurance money. Have you got the receipt for the premium he paid this morning? So anyway, as you say, there are no valuables and all that. We will see to that. But as you mentioned that he went out to pay his insurance, do you have the receipt of that insurance that he paid this morning? And let us see. Now Ben is very much interested in his insurance money. Emilius later, I have not seen it. I haven't seen this receipt. And then Victoria jumps up from the sofa and comes behind the table. And then Victoria is trying to say something over here. Let us see. Mother, I don't think Grandpa went to pay his insurance this morning. Maybe Victoria is observing her grandfather, and she is adding up to their conversation, saying that today, this morning, he didn't go out to pay his insurance, I think. Then where did he go? Let us see. Mrs. Emilia, he went out, but for sure he went out. And then Victoria, yes, but he didn't go into the town. He didn't go into the town. I have seen him. He met old Mr. Tattersall down the street, and they went off past St. Philip's Church. He went out and met Mr. Tattersall, and they both together, they went on the way. They passed our St. Philip's Church, and they went on their way. And Ben, do you think he hasn't paid it? Was it overdue? And Ben is so concerned about his father-in-law's money, and he's inquiring into it. So do you all think that he hasn't paid it? Was it overdue? Do we need to pay that? Let us see. Mrs. Slater, I should think it was overdue. Emilia is saying, then it might be overdue. It is not paid. It should be paid. Mrs. Jordan, something tells me he has not paid it. Even Elizabeth is sensing now, okay, if he had met that Mr. Tattersall, he might not have gone to pay the premium. So no. Ben, that drunken old beggar. See, Ben, all of a sudden, he changed in the earlier few dialogues before. He was actually praising his father-in-law, saying that he's too honorable man. He's such a man with a proper attitude and all that. All of a sudden, when he knows that there is no money and all, he is using words as if he likes. He is calling him as drunken old beggar. So see how people changes according to the situation. At a moment of time, the same person who praised, and now he's insulting his father-in-law. Mrs. Jordan, he's done it on purpose just to annoy us. And Elizabeth is saying that he didn't pay this insurance and he died just to annoy us. What a statement to make. Will anyone die just to annoy you? Will anyone die without paying an insurance just to annoy you? Such a ridiculous statement this is. Mrs. Slater, after all I have done for him, having to put up with him in the house these 3 years, it's nothing short of swindling. So even Emilia is getting emotional knowing that he didn't pay his insurance. See what she is saying. I have done for him, and she has done a lot for him. And then she's saying, from past 3 years I'm taking care of him, and leaving us without saving any money, it's like swindling. Swindling means cheating somebody for property or money. It's like cheating us. And then Mrs. Jordan, I had to put up with him for 5 years. So earlier he stayed with Elizabeth Jordan for 5 years and then moved on to Emilia, and from past 3 years he's living with her. And then see, Mrs. Slater, and you were trying to turn him over to us all the time. Emilia is telling to Elizabeth, you always try to send him over here. You want us to take care of him rather than you taking the responsibility and looking after him. Now see, they are actually quarreling about the turns. Then what a pathetic plight it is. The moral values were degraded so much. What all they want is the belongings that belong to the father. They were not bothered to go and have a look at him. What all they are discussing is about his money, about his things, what all they could get. Only those they are discussing. And then let us see. Henry is adding up to this conversation. But we don't know for certain that he is not paid the premium. But for sure, we don't have any evidence to say that he didn't pay the premium. And Mrs. Slater, Victoria, run upstairs and fetch the bunch of keys that's on your grandpa's dressing table. So she called Victoria. Emilia called Victoria, and she's saying, there are a bunch of keys on your grandpa's table, so go get them. And then Victoria timidly, in grandpa's room? And she is very much scared, a little hesitant, and in grandpa's room, because he's dead and lying over there, walking into a dead man's room is scary. Mrs. Slater, yes, go and get them. Then Victoria, I don't like to. And Victoria is very hesitant. No, I don't want to go to grandpa's room. And then see Emilia Slater, what she's saying. Don't talk so silly. There is no one who can hurt you. She's saying that he's dead. There is no one who would hurt you over there. Victoria goes out reluctantly as her mother is insisting her to go. She got up and started going to her grandpa's room reluctantly. She's not willing, but she has to go. We will see if he's locked the receipt up in the bureau. So they want to check the bureau if he had locked the receipt in the bureau. And then now, as they said, as they're pointing out to the bureau, now their curiosity will arouse. Usually our father lays upstairs. Why will he put that receipt downstairs over here in this bureau? Now see, the investigation starts. Ben, in where? In this thing? He raises and examines it. And already Ben got it out. And then see, he raises from his place and he examining the bureau, asking these questions. In where? Where did he put? In this thing. You're talking about this bureau. The receipt is in this bureau. And then see, Mrs. Jordan also raising. And Elizabeth also got this doubt. Okay, where did they get this bureau from? It was not there earlier. And let us see what she's saying. Where did you pick that up, Emilia? It's new since last I was here. It was not there when I was here last time. Where did you get that from? Pick up means to get or buy. And then let us see here. They examine it closely. Both the wife and husband, they both are examining the bureau very carefully. And now they have a doubt whether this bureau really belongs to Emilia and Henry. And then let us see. Mrs. Slater. Oh, Henry picked it up one day. It is Henry who bought it. And then let us see. Mrs. Victoria returns very scared. Victoria went to her grandfather's room in order to get the keys, and she is coming back very scared. She closes the door after her, and she closed the grandfather's room, and then she's very scared. And let us see why she's scared. Victoria, mother, mother, and see there are exclamations. She's scared and she is calling her mother. Mrs. Slater, what is it, child? Victoria, Grandpa is getting up. And she's saying, Grandpa is getting up. And then Ben, what? Ben Jordan is saying, what? And then Mrs. Slater, what do you say? And they all couldn't believe what she is saying. She's saying Grandpa is getting up. They're all shocked and asking this question, what? What do you say? And then Victoria, Grandpa is getting up. She said it again. And as they are wondering what's going on, she is reinforcing it. Mrs. Jordan, the child is crazy. And then she's saying, the child is crazy. She has gone mad. And that's the reason why she's saying Grandpa is getting up. Then Mrs. Slater, don't talk so silly. Don't you know your grandpa is dead? So don't talk so silly. Your grandpa is dead. He's not alive. How could he get up? And then Victoria, no, he's getting up. I saw him. No, I saw him. He's getting up. He's not dead. They are transfixed with amazement. Victoria clings to Mrs. Slater. They were all transfixed. Transfixed means became motionless in fear. And they were all looking at Abel Merriweather's room. Victoria clings. Clings means to stay close to someone all the time because one doesn't feel safe. So she's clinging, she's hanging on to her mother. And see, Ben suddenly hissed, listen. Hissed means an expression used to attract attention. Okay, listen carefully. Yes, even I could hear some sound. And then let us see what's going on over there. It's given in the brackets. It's all part of the action there. They look at the door. A slight chuckling, chuckling means giggling, is heard from upstairs. The door opens. They could hear some sounds, and all of a sudden the door opens, revealing an old man clad in a faded but gay dressing gown. So we can see that he was wearing a faded, it was little faded, but is in his stockinged feet, means he put on socks on his feet. Although over 70, he's around a 70-year-old man. He's vigorous. He looks strong and well colored. That means he doesn't look faded and all. He looks a very well colored man. And then his bright, malicious eyes twinkle under his heavy reddish gray eyebrows. So his eyebrows are reddish gray, and his eyes looks very bright but malicious, and they looks twinkling. He's obviously either the old man Abel Merriweather or else his ghost. Now they are wondering, is it a ghost that coming downstairs, or is it Abel Merriweather he himself? So in order to find out whether he is dead and is it a ghost, or whether he is still alive or is he coming down, you need to stay tuned in and wait till we go through part 2. And part 1 is all about how the moral values degraded, and we can know from the behavior of these sisters what all they care is. They care for the possessions, they care for the things, they care for what they could get. And even their word seems like they're actually waiting for their father's death. They want him to die so that they could own his belongings or own whatever that belongs to the father. They don't have any love, affection, or they don't even care for their father. And even in the present day also, people have become so commercial. And this particular lesson is to tell us, never lose the love of the family, never lose the love that you have for your family. And that could be the worst state you could ever be in. So let us live a morally, ethically affectionate life.